Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to our third video in the Christmas in July for 2016 series. And today we're making a Santa purse. Now I have to tell you a little bit of background about this purse because I think it's funny. My previous crafting life started making Santa purses to sell to my friends and family, and I made them just like this, but I sewed them. They were so cute. They had the little leather belt. I used fur at the top on my purses, but I thought for this one I'd use this little ribbon. You actually could use anything you want. I can't wait to see what you guys to do. And this is literally what my Santa purse looked like. Same kind of handles and everything, so I'm excited to show you how to make it out of paper. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is a 12 by 12 piece of paper and your scoring board. Now this purse is made exactly like the last one that I did with the one sheet of 12 by 12, except for the fact we're going to decorate it differently. And there's a couple little things I want to show you on this one that I think will make things easier. So we're going to score it just like we do our original, which is at 1/2 inch. By the way, I'm going to link the video for that one below or either in the video here so you guys can go watch it too. We're going to score at 4.5, at 7.5, and then at 11.5. That's on one side of our 12 by 12. Then we're going to turn it, and on this side we're going to score it at 3 3/4 and 8 1/4. Now there's a blog post and everything with a template for this, so I'll link all that information in this video too from the original purse, but it all works the same way at this point. So that's all the scoring we have to do for now. We'll bring that back out in a few minutes for the handles. So this guy we've got to do some slicing on, and where we make our cuts matters, okay? Where you did your 2 1/2 inch score marks, here and here, that is the front of the bag, okay? This is the side that doesn't have that 1/2 inch score. So what we're going to do is we're going to slice at the front of the purse on 2 fold lines. So here from the front, on that score line that we made there, all the way to the first intersection of score lines, just like that, okay? Then right next to it, you want to cut this pretty straight because this is going to show it's the front of your bag. We're literally kind of exposing the front panel, okay? So now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to cut straight in and straight in. Now, just so you don't have to think about it, just know you make these slices from the end of the paper that have the 1/2 inch score lines on them. That's all you got to remember. Now let's do some folding. So I'm going to fold and I'm going to crease. I find that creasing this guy with your bone folder makes a really pretty finished project. And I kind of line up each piece as I go with the score lines across it. That's just kind of one of my habits, is to kind of line things up like that. So I'll lay this guy out and then line it up on the side with the previous score mark above it. And that way I'm getting a pretty square fold. Okay, so we got everything scored except that 1/2 inch line. You don't have to score this 1/2 inch line. We're actually going to fold it once we make the front panel. So don't worry about scoring those 1/2 inches on either side. I mean folding those 1/2 inches. No need to fold those at this point. Now we're going to do some gluing. I'm going to take one of those panels we cut, and I'm going to use some art glitter glue. Notice here I'm using my glue without my fine metal tip. When I'm doing bigger places like this, I like to do that because it makes it go faster. So I just remove the metal tip. While I'm doing this, I've had some questions about the red tip. The red and the black tip are exactly the same. They're just different colored. The manufacturer didn't have any more black tips, so we ended up getting some red ones in these last couple of batches, but they work exactly the same. All right, so I'm going to line that up and glue that into place just like that. And now I'll show you what we've got. So there's the back of our purse. This is that front panel with that 1/2 inch score at the top. Now we're going to bring this side panel in and glue it here. We're basically just making a box. Don't tell anybody. We're turning a box into a purse. This is just a simple box construction, and it's so cute when it's finished. I think it is anyway. I made so many of those Santa purses. It was before my YouTube days, and I set up my sewing machine in my bedroom, and I made Santa and Christmas themed purses starting in about August all the way through December, and I probably did that for probably 3 years. I did that, and I loved making those purses, but man, they were time consuming, but so cute. I don't even have one. I never ended up being able to carry one because every time I'd walk around with one on my arm, I'd end up selling it. So I don't even have one to show you. All right, so this last piece goes inside. I probably should have folded that before I put that one down just so I could have it ready. I don't think I creased that one good. All right, and then I'm going to put glue in here and glue it into place as well. So as you can see, we've basically made a box, and we have these two flaps at the top we need to fold down. I like this because it kind of makes this area look really neat and clean and finished. So I just folded that over, and then I'm just going to hit it with my bone folder to kind of crease it really simply like that. And then I'm just going to glue it into place. So I'm just going to open that up, run some glue around on that little piece, and then glue it down. Makes that front edge really sturdy. Same thing on this side. I'm going to fold this little guy down. I'm going to crease him with the bone folder. And then I'm going to glue him into place. So there we go, our box with the little tabs folded and everything. Where this becomes to look like a purse is when we squeeze it like this. See how we get these little edges? You don't want to crease these if you can keep from it. You just want those to angle. Now there's a couple of changes for this one than from the last purse. So if you're confused at all here, watch the original video up to this point, and then this is where you're going to make some changes. The first one is the closure. I want to show you what I'm doing on this one for the closure. So I've cut a piece of coordinating cardstock 3 inches by 2 1/4. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch. And we're going to score it at 1 3/4. So basically 1/2 inch in on either side. Just like this. This is going to be what holds our purse together. Now you can change your closure any way you want. There's been lots of different closures done. I've seen so many people do this purse and I love it. But this way for me works. I'm really mimicking those purses I used to sew. They had the little closure that went to the inside, and I just loved how neat and clean it left the front of the purse so that the buckle and the ruffles were the focal point. So I've folded those two little pieces down just like this. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take one edge here, add some glue, and this piece is going to get glued into the purse on that panel. Just like this. It basically fits on top of that piece we just folded down. So it just fits right there. And I'm going to lay this out and rub it down. And then I'm going to show you, don't worry, because I know my hands are everywhere. So you can see here I've just glued this piece to the center back. Okay, so if you're using pattern paper, you want to make sure you glue it to the back portion, okay? Now for my closure, I'm going to use these little Velcro dots. I found these at Walmart. They're so super cute, and I will show you what I did. So they come in sheets that are separate like this, but I want to show you what I did. I just laid them on top of each other and stuck them together so that I would just have them together like that. And I'm going to cut away what I need for the top of my box doing that. So I think I'm going to use 3 of these little dots. I used 2 on my first purse, and that worked fine. But I think 3 is probably going to make it hold really nicely. These little guys were just like I said at Walmart in like the sewing section. Now I'm going to peel off the backer on one. They're pre-adhesive, which I love. I love anything that comes with its own adhesive. Now this set I'm going to stick right here on this 1/2 inch flat we scored. Just like that. Then I'm going to peel this backer off, exposing the adhesive on the other side. And I'm going to bring this in, bring this down, and stick this together. And that is going to install my Velcro dots. But I wanted to pay attention to what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of lining it up as I press and get those guys in there like that. And you see now our purse is going to stay closed, and we can open it from the Velcro dots just like this. Now, if you're concerned, you can make these less sticky by going over and over and over again. Just peel them and peel them and peel them, and they will loosen up. But I kind of like them to be a little firm so that whenever I stick them together and whoever gets them, it'll stay together. Now we can do handles. On the first purse I made, I didn't hide my handles. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I just stuck my handles on the inside, so you see how you can see it right there? I think I'm going to put it behind the ribbon this time. I think that'll be a nice, cleaner look. So let's do handles. So I have 2 strips that are 1 inch by 12 inches long. I'm going to score these in half. I actually saw a sweet lady make these for her Girl Scout troop. She did a video and she tagged my name in it so I could find it. And oh my goodness, she made so many, like 26 or something for her Girl Scout troop. And she took her handle and did it with the 1 inch, scored it down the middle, and then glued this together to make it sturdier. And I really liked what she did. So we're going to mimic what she did in her video. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I think it looks really good. So score those in half. And now we're going to fold them and score them. Okay, so I have folded them and creased them. Now I'm going to take my art glitter glue and I'm going to put it on the inside of on the inside of the flap, just on one side. And I'm being very generous. And the reason for that is I kind of want it to wet my paper a little bit because I'm going to use the glue to help me mold these into the shape of a handle. And here's what I do. I just kind of rub this until it grabs, and it will start to grab on its own. Like at first it may not, but just keep rubbing and the glue will grab it down. And that's how I like to do it. And it kind of softens the paper up too as you do that. Be careful not to get a paper cut here. You know how to do this, right? So it softens it up, and then as I mess with it, I start to curl it and try to get that softer leather look. It's really neat how it does it. So you can see how I've got kind of a bend now, so it'll lend itself really nicely to the purse handle. Now, if you have any spots where you have some little buckling of the paper, what I did was I just took some more glue and stuck in there, and then I just held it into place for just a second, and it held it down really nicely. You'll see what I'm talking about when you're making these yourself, because it will kind of buckle, but you can work it down. So there's one. Let's do the other handle. Then I just do a little test, and that's going to work just fine. All right, so let's put these onto our bag. And I'm going to put these onto the outside of the bag this time instead of the inside. Put a dot of glue here and a dot of glue here. And these I line up right to the edge of that little front piece. I think that makes it easy to make sure you have these in the right spot. Show you what I mean there. Let me get that into place, and I'll move my hand for you. So you see how those just go right to the edges. And I'm not worried about that glue because I'm going to cover this up anyway with my ribbon. Now, if you have, if you're in a hurry, or if you need to move on, or you're making several of these, this is a great place to just take like a clothespin and just hold those guys down until they seal down nice and tight. These will hold just fine for me, so I'm just going to let them go just like that. And we can let's work on our belt while that dries just a little bit. So while that's drying, let's work on our belt. These are what I'm using. They're from Walmart. They're little plastic buttons. However, when I picked these up yesterday, they were on the clearance rack and they were 50 cents. So I think they're clearancing these out. So I bought every pack they had because I know I'm going to want to make a bunch of these at Christmas. So find your little buttons that you want to use for your buckles, or you don't have to even have this. You could use an actual button or paper to make a buckle, whatever you wanted to do. Now, one thing I did, and I want to show you this. On the first bag I made, I cut this strip small enough to go inside there so it actually overlaps that little strip in the middle, that little plastic piece in the middle. But I want my belt to be a little thicker than that. I think it looks better to be a little thicker. So I took my Tim Holtz snips, well, these little like paper snips that I have, and I snipped that center piece out. And then I cut my belt loop the same width of the buckle. And I know it may not seem like much, but when you see this done, I think you'll notice the difference in the wider belt versus the thinner belt. So I just wanted to do that because I think it needed to happen. So now we can just glue this guy onto the front. This is exactly how I did the first one, and you cannot tell, and it looks great. I've got two pieces. These ended up being 3/4 of an inch wide, and I started in the front and glued down to the back, and then I just used this piece to cover it. So check this out. I'm going to take some glue, just start here with the front portion. I'm going to find the center where I want this on the front, just kind of like this. And I thought about putting this strip on before I did the bend to the bag and everything, and then I thought, no, if I do it this way, it'll help to hold the bend of the bag in. So this is why we're doing it at this point instead of before we put the handles and do the bend and all that. So then we're just going to take this piece, add some glue, and bring it around. And then you just kind of find the center and push it on there. This really works well. I was afraid that it wouldn't, but it does really well. Then I'm just going to come around here and do the same thing on this side. So there's the start of our belt, and you can see we have this gap in the back, and you just want to kind of eyeball, make sure those line up. And I took another strip. I put some glue down here, and I just glued this strip down, kind of overlapping, and trimmed away what I didn't need. Super simple, and it will blend right in. You will not know. And if you're really particular about it, you can go right here to this edge and snip it even with the edge of that purse and then glue that down, and nobody's going to notice because it will look like you meant to do that. And it was less measuring. I didn't have to measure this piece and measure this piece. I just cut 2 of those strips. So back to the front of the bag. Now we can put our little buckle on, and I'm just going to glue it down here, and it really will make a difference, I promise. I don't know why, but that wider buckle to me looks better. Now for the super fun part, the ribbon. This is the ribbon I purchased. I found it at Walmart. It's made by Waverly, and it was just a decorative ribbon that I thought would be perfect for the top to kind of look like fur or ruffles, and we're going to glue this guy on. Now what I did for this, I still use my art glitter glue, but I started in the back and wrapped it around. So that's what I'm going to do this time as well. So I'm just going to add some glue here. And I just do a little bit at a time, and I line that ribbon up with the top of the bag in the center, and then I'll show you what it does when we get to the side. Now because I'm lining up at the top of the center, when I get to the side, I have a little bit that hangs over the edge, which I think is so cute. Can you see how that just kind of hangs over the little edge like that? And I think that's adorable. So I just keep going and gluing this down. Just some glue strapped around here. You could use hot glue if you wanted to, but my art glitter glue works just fine. I just have to hold it for just a second and let it adhere. Then I just keep going all the way around the bag. So this is the one we just completed, and you notice it has the wider belt, and this is the one I did with the thinner belt, and I don't know why, but I think it makes a slight bit of difference. Not enough to stress about it. If you want your buckle to be tucked, I would do it that way. If not, do it this way. This one still has some glue drying on it. You can see there's some white still showing, but when that's dry, it won't show, and it'll be super cute. So now my purse has been drying, and while it was, I was making this little charm. I want to show you what I did. It has a little key, a little stocking, and a snowflake. Now the stocking and the snowflake are from my friend Gareth's store. It's G's Embellishment Emporium, and I'll be sure to link that below. The key is something I had in my stash. Now he may have a key, I don't know. He has all kinds of little embellishments on his store. I also have a piece of ribbon that's kind of thin. I'm going to put that through, and I'm going to tie this onto the handle of my bag. I think that'll be cute. So now I've just got my little charms hanging from the handle, and it is ready for goodies for someone for Christmas. How cute, huh? I love this bag. So if you make these bags or any like them, even if they're not Santa themed, share them with us over on our Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. We love to see what you guys are making. And listen, if you're looking for Christmas inspiration, there is so much going on over there right now because all of our members are doing their Christmas in July with me, and we have got some really cute things being made to give you inspiration for your Christmas projects. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you again next week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.